More questions? Very brief comments. Yes, yes, sir.
My name is Amir. I'm from Singapore. I must compliment both speakers, particularly the senior speaker.
The old speaker.
I'm probably about your age, sir.
Various words in English language.
So I attended your 100-year anniversary with Go Chok Tong in Calcutta. And I'm also interested in GoPio, which is a global organization of people of Indian origin. I think, and I want your opinion on this, firstly, South Asia itself, SAARC, the problems within some countries between SAARC have to be solved first before it can go further. And what are the prospects of that? Maybe Mr. Khanna could throw in his 2 cents worth on this particular thing. I have been involved in it for some time myself, trying to bring countries that together by rational reasoning that it benefits all if trade between the SAARC countries are opened up. Okay. And this will open up a whole venue of things. Thank you.
Very good. If there be no more questions, Dr. Khanna, you have the floor.
Thank you for that question. To deepen actually what Tarun was saying earlier as well, I mean, I firmly believe that the great trend of the 21st century is not the rise of the East versus the West, but in fact it's regionalism. Regionalism is the single most important trend happening in the entire world today from a geopolitical, economic, and strategic standpoint. The European Union began after World War II and has become, again, the largest single economic bloc in the world. In North America, people speak about moving beyond NAFTA towards the North American Union. In South America, what used to be a limited arrangement, a trade arrangement called Mercosur, has become the Union of South American Nations, led by Brazil as an anchor state. The Persian Gulf, the Gulf Cooperation Council, GCC region, has very much become a pole of geopolitical power in the world today based on its petro power as well as its defense structures. So around the world you find that powerful regions or stable regions are based on having these strong regional frameworks and institutions. And if you think about it, it makes total sense. Most of the countries in the world are small or poor or landlocked or some combination of those factors. And they have realized, even in Africa, hence the African Union and sub-regional arrangements in Africa, that the only way to get ahead is to join forces, to bring down trade barriers, to build cross-border infrastructure, and to create regional political and economic framework. So that is the trend that is happening in literally every single place in the world. And countries that exclude themselves, that lock themselves out, that don't participate are going to be weaker in the future. So that is important in understanding the issue of currency. It's important in understanding trade, finance, infrastructure, development, just about everything. But it also means that you cannot limit yourself just to existing institutions. People don't speak as much about the Arab League in the Middle East as they used to, and yet people speak of Arabism more than ever in the last half century. The Arab League is associated with the 20th century, with a previous incarnation of Arabism that dates back to the 50s. Today, with the Arab Spring and beyond, people talk about a new kind of Arabism. It's about satellite television, media, cross-border finance, migration patterns, the magnetic city-states of Doha, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, and so forth. All of that is becoming a collective Arab sort of mindset and culture and a zone of activity. In South Asia, the same thing is very much needed. Whether or not SAARC sits atop of it or not, to me, is a completely secondary factor. Quite frankly, it won't, and it doesn't necessarily have to. It's not always political institutions that dictate the terms. Often political institutions are just following the economic patterns and realities. You're here in Singapore, where that's very much the case. Were it not for this deepening Asianization of trade and commercial patterns and supply chains within Asia, I don't think you would have the East Asian community as a diplomatic forum such as it is today. So I think one has to look beyond just the formal institutions to the ground reality of exchanges that are going on and deepening. And in that sense, I firmly believe and agree with Tarun and others that this South Asianization is a very high potential reality.
Thank you. Any quick reaction?
Two quick points, Mr. Chairman. On South Asia trade, I think the onus is on India to allow duty-free imports for all products of other South Asian countries into India. Simple. It is number one point to give comfort to all our South Asian neighbors. Everybody should be able to export into India freely and without duty. I think this would be, for me, an important confidence-building measure and a real trade-building measure. You know, and India should do it without fear or wanting favors. It is not about two-way business. I think India should do it. It's a large economy in India, and we need to get the products and services from our neighbors into India. It will only make India better, and it will strengthen their economies because they will have free access to our large market. That's number one. Second, there are problems in doing business in India. There are problems in doing business in other countries also. I think we have to work. Recently, in our Track 2 dialogue led by Professor Tomiko, who's sitting here, India-Singapore, we agreed that there must be an effort to help Singaporean companies solve their problems vis-a-vis India. And we are trying to set up a kind of an informal network under CII to do this. I think we probably do it also for South Asian countries, because each of us have problems with each other, in each other's countries, in terms of policies and procedures, and there must be a group outside government to help people to solve these problems. And I think this way we build confidence, we build trust, we build more trade, and we build a better relationship.
Yes, indeed. Could I just make one point before I wrap up this discussion? I mean, the ancient Greeks used to say that you ought to define your terms when you debate. If we expand the definition, there is another aspect of the diaspora which we must include from South Asia, which is the contractual labor. Yeah. And we have millions of them from South Asia. Prime Minister this morning was mentioning the amount of remittances. I know in the case of Bangladesh, for instance, about $12 billion come from about 5.5 million expatriate contractual labor abroad. So they must be brought in. As a matter of fact, as of now, their contribution to the economic development of home is perhaps greater than the rest of the diaspora. Well, all good things must come to an end because other good things must begin. I will therefore bring this session to its conclusion, but not before I thank the two distinguished speakers for two enormously fruitful interaction with the audience. I thank those who have asked questions and others who have silently listened, because wisdom has a curious way of spreading quietly.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody. And let's give them a big hand. And over to you, Mr. Master of Ceremonies.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you very much. May we please invite the panel to remain on stage to show our gratitude and also our appreciation. It gives me great pleasure to please invite Mr. Satpal Khattar to join us on stage to present tokens of appreciation to our wonderful panel. Let's give Mr. Satpal Khattar a big warm welcome, please. Thank you very much. Good morning again, sir. I'd like to firstly thank Dr. Parag, Khanna, Senior Research Fellow, New America Foundation, United States of America. Mr. Tarun Das, former Chief Mentor, Confederation of India Industry, India. And our brilliant moderator, Dr. Iftekhar Ahmed Chowdhury, please. Can we have a group photo after this? Can we have a group photo? Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause once again for our special address speakers and our moderator. We'd like to also thank Mr. Satpal Khattar as well.